The glass in Ivy's hand caught the kitchen light, a swirl of red and reflection. "To my sister," she said, voice sharp enough to slice through the roast's quiet sizzle. The spreadsheet queen, still single, still saving us all. Laughter followed, small, polite, but cruel in its precision. My mother, Delilah, covered her mouth with her napkin, the same way she used to hide a smile when correcting my piano scales. My father, Graham, nodded like it was a well-earned joke. I set my fork down. "Still saving you," I said softly. "That part's true." Ivy leaned back in her chair, gold earrings swinging. "Come on, Celine. It's a toast, not a confession. Then maybe pick a better line." The table went quiet. Even the clock above the doorway seemed to hesitate. Graham cleared his throat. "It's only teasing. You know how your sister is." "I do," I said. "She spends money she doesn't have and laughs at the one who covers her overdraft." Ivy's smile tightened. "You really want to do this now? I didn't start it." Delilah's voice, soft but rehearsed, filled the air. "Girls, please. We finally have dinner together." I looked at her, at the careful pearls and the wine glass trembling in her hand. "Dinner's fine. Mom, it's the charity gala that's exhausting." Graham's jaw flexed. "That's enough. Celine." I turned toward him. "Exactly. It is." For a heartbeat, no one moved. The smell of garlic and wine pressed close. Too warm. Too heavy. Then Ivy laughed again, short. Nervous. "God, you're dramatic." I met her eyes and smiled, the kind of smile that doesn't reach the heart. "And you're welcome, Ivy, for the house, for the car, for the silence." The laughter died. The clock ticked on. Back in my apartment, the city hummed under the window, steady and indifferent. I opened my laptop, the glow washing over the stack of envelopes I still hadn't touched. Ivy's voice lingered in my head, still single, still saving us all. 9 years of transfers, mortgage payments, repairs, credit cards. Every line in my bank history carried their names. The phone buzzed. Mom first. "Sweetheart, did we upset you tonight?" she asked, her tone already guilt-wrapped. "You didn't upset me," I said. "You embarrassed me." A pause. "It was just a joke. You know how Ivy talks." "I know. You let her." Her sigh was careful. "We've all had a hard year. Your father's consulting slowed. My medication, I've covered it." "Mom, every month." "That's what families do." "Families don't keep score," I said, "but they also don't keep taking." Silence pressed through the line, thicker than apology. Then Dad's voice cut in from somewhere behind her. "If you're going to make this about money again, don't call." "I didn't call," I said. "You did." He muttered something, maybe my name, maybe nothing. I ended the call before it twisted further. The spreadsheet blinked on my screen. 9 years, $126,000, every transfer on time. The cursor waited at the next payment date. Sunday. For the first time, I hovered over cancel. The next morning, I opened my banking app. The familiar blue logo pulsed, waiting. One line blinked at the top: recurring transfer, Carver family account. 9 years of habit in that one phrase. My phone rang before I could move. "Ivy." "Hey, so Dad said you were upset," she began. "I'm fine. Good, because Mom's stressing. She thinks you'll stop helping with the house." "I already have." A pause, sharp and startled. "What do you mean?" "You have. I canceled the transfer." "You're joking." "I'm not." "Celine." The mortgage wasn't mine to begin with. Her tone turned sugar-coated, defensive. "You know Dad only signed your name so the bank would approve it faster. It's still our home." "Right. My credit. Your comfort." "God, you sound just like a banker." "I am one." I said. She exhaled hard. This is cruel. You know that they've been through enough. So have I. The line went silent. Then Ivy whispered, Mom's going to cry. I know, I said. She always does. When the call ended, I stared at the screen again. A message flashed. Are you sure you want to cancel this transfer? I thought of Dad's voice, always confident when he needed money. Mom's rehearsed gratitude. Ivy's laugh echoing in the dining room. Yes, I whispered. The confirmation icon appeared, one click. And for the first time in 9 years, my account stayed still. By noon, my phone wouldn't stop vibrating. The first call came from Mom, then another, then Ivy. When I finally answered, Mom's voice trembled. Sweetheart, something's wrong. The mortgage payment didn't go through. I know, I said, a beat of confusion. You know. Then fix it, please. The bank already called your father. I'm not fixing it. I stopped paying. The air on her end sharpened. Celine, this isn't funny. I'm not joking. Mom. I heard her cover the phone, whispering to Dad. His voice erupted faintly in the background, low, furious. He grabbed the line. You can't do this to us. I already did. This house stands because of you, he said, as if it were gratitude. No, I said quietly. It stands on me. He drew in a breath, slow and angry. After everything we gave you, name one thing you didn't take back. A long silence followed. Then Mom spoke again, her voice softening into that old trick of guilt. We just need time, sweetheart. Don't make us beg. You've been begging for 9 years, I said. I finally stopped listening before she could answer. I ended the call. Messages began arriving one after another, texts from Ivy, voicemails from Dad, the same words in different tones. You owe us. You'll regret this. Come home Sunday. We need to talk. The buzzing stopped. The silence didn't. The message stayed pinned at the top of my phone. Come home Sunday. We need to talk. No greeting. No question. Just an order. By Sunday afternoon. I was driving north toward Evanston. The streets were slick with early rain, the kind that blurred everything except decision. When I pulled into the old driveway, the porch light flickered like always, half working, half warning. Mom met me at the door. You came, she said, relief and accusation tangled in her voice. You asked. She glanced past me, as if expecting someone else. You didn't bring flowers. Not today. The dining table was already set, silverware polished, chicken steaming. Too many chairs for the silence waiting there. Dad sat at the head, arms folded. Ivy scrolled on her phone, pretending not to care. I hung my coat over the chair and sat. Let's talk. Dad leaned forward. We can't live like this. The bills, the mortgage, I know. I lived like it for 9 years. Mom frowned. Celine, you're being cruel. I'm being honest. Ivy didn't look up. You could have called before cutting us off. I did call. I said, for 9 years, every month, in wire transfers. Her phone slipped slightly from her hand. Dad's tone hardened. We depend on you. That's the problem. I said, dependence isn't family. It's control. He rose halfway from his chair, the same gesture he used when lecturing students. Watch your tone. I met his eyes. Respect isn't automatic. Dad. It's earned. No one spoke after that. Only the sound of the clock steady, deliberate counting down to whatever came next. Dad's hand hovered above the table, steady but shaking underneath. You think you can just walk in here and insult your family? I'm not insulting anyone, I said. I'm finally speaking in full sentences. Mom's voice rose, soft and frantic. Celine, please, we're just trying to survive. Your father's pension barely covers the utilities. And Ivy has 2 sponsorships and a new car. I said, she'll manage. Ivy rolled her eyes. You have no idea how this industry works. Everything I post, everything I buy, it's branding. It's funded. I said, by me. Her expression faltered. You make it sound dirty. It is, I said. When you hide it behind family. Dad slammed his palm against the table. The plates rattled. Enough. You will not disrespect your mother or your sister in my house. I leaned forward. You mean my mortgage? He froze. The silence cracked like glass. Mom whispered, Celine, please. Not tonight. Tonight is perfect, I said. 9 years of pretending deserves a final act. Ivy's tone turned mocking. You think money makes you better? No, I said. It just stopped making me smaller. Dad's face flushed. After all we sacrificed for you, I laughed once low. Tired. You didn't sacrifice. You signed. He narrowed his eyes. What's that supposed to mean? I reached into my bag and set a thick folder on the table. It means this. Every transfer, every payment, every receipt since I started working. And one more thing. He hesitated before reaching for it. The first page stopped him. Cold home equity loan, co-signed by Celine Carver. That's absurd, he said. A clerical mistake. Your handwriting isn't clerical, I said. The bank confirmed it. Mom's lips parted, trembling. We did it to protect the house. No, I said. You did it because you knew I wouldn't say no. I looked at each of them, the father who taught economics, the mother who played martyr, the sister who lived on borrowed pride. Then I said, calm as the ticking clock behind me, you have 30 days to remove my name from every account and pay what you owe. The silence that followed wasn't fear. It was recognition. Dad's chair scraped back hard against the floor. You think a few pieces of paper will scare us? They're not meant to scare you, I said. They're proof. Mom stood now, her pearls trembling against her collarbone. You brought this here. You couldn't talk to us first. I've been talking for years. You just heard the parts that benefited you. Ivy leaned across the table, voice dripping disbelief. You hired a lawyer. Tell me you didn't. I did, I said. Rowan Blake. She's handling everything. Dad laughed once, sharp, humorless. An outsider. You brought in a stranger to turn against your own blood. She's not a stranger, I said. She's someone who respects my name. Something this family hasn't done in years. Mom's eyes welled. Sweetheart, we only borrowed your signature. You know your father, he panicked. I know exactly what he did. I said, you both crossed a line and called it protection. Ivy's voice rose. You're ruining us. No, I said quietly. I'm saving myself. Dad pointed at the folder, his tone pure command. You'll regret this. You'll beg to take it back. I stood. I already begged for 9 years. For gratitude, for decency, for peace. The clock ticked behind me, steady and merciless. You have 30 days, I said again, meeting each of their eyes. After that, Rowan files. No more conversations. No more guilt. Dad's voice broke on the edge of fury. You wouldn't dare. I gathered the folder under my arm. Try me. No one followed as I walked out. Only the ticking stayed, echoing through the house I'd paid for but never truly owned. 2 weeks later, Rowan called while I was making coffee. Her voice was calm, measured, the way people sound when the storm has already passed. The investigation's complete, she said. The bank confirmed the forgery. Your name is cleared. I leaned against the counter, the cup cooling in my hand. So, it's over. Legally? Yes. Emotionally, that's up to you. A pause settled between us, soft, almost gentle. Thank you. Rowan. That's what boundaries look like, she said. then hung up. I stood in my apartment for a long time, listening to the hum of the refrigerator, the faint city noise beyond the window. The quiet didn't hurt anymore. When I opened my laptop later, a real estate ad slid across the screen. Evanston Colonial foreclosure pending. The same house, the same windows, the same porch light that never quite worked. The asking price was $590,000. I didn't feel anger or triumph, only the weight of something inevitable. That night, Ivy texted once they're selling the house. Mom's crying. Dad won't talk. I typed back 3 words, take care. Ivy and turned the phone face down. The silence that followed wasn't heavy. It was earned. Mom's message came late Friday night, one last dinner before we leave the house. Please come. I almost deleted it, then read it again. By Sunday, I was driving north. The house looked smaller without the curtains. The furniture boxed up and labeled. Inside, the air smelled like cardboard and dust instead of roast chicken. Mom greeted me first. I wasn't sure you'd come. You asked. I said. Dad sat at the head of the table, shoulders slumped, eyes fixed on a single glass of water. Ivy barely looked up. We ate in silence. No jokes, no toasts. Just the scrape of forks and the sound of people trying to swallow pride. When the plates were empty, I set my napkin down. I'm not cutting you out, I said, but I'm done being your safety net. If you fall, you stand up on your own. Dad nodded once. Slow. Ivy's voice cracked. What if we can't? Then you learn, I said. No one argued. As I stood to leave, Mom handed me a small envelope. I found this while packing. Inside was a faded photograph, me at 8, sitting beside her at the piano. She smiled faintly. I kept this one. I just never framed it. I nodded, unable to speak. For the first time, silence felt almost kind. Back in Chicago, the city lights moved across my window like slow waves. My desk was cleared, my laptop waiting. I signed the new contract, head of risk strategy. The ink spread steady under my hand, my name written without hesitation. Rowan called once more that evening. How does it feel, Strange? I said. Like standing in a room that finally stopped echoing. She laughed softly. Then you're free. When the call ended, I poured a glass of wine and stood by the window. The skyline glimmered, distant and unbothered. I thought of Dad, silent at the table, of Mom, holding that photo like it might fix something, of Ivy, smaller than her laughter ever was. Then I whispered, almost to myself, to endings, to beginnings, to silence that finally belongs to me. I took a sip and let the quiet settle. Somewhere far off, a clock ticked, faint but certain, the same rhythm that once marked every dinner, every sacrifice. Only now, it kept time for me alone.